Welcome to the 9D update for Tuesday the 8th. October 2024 today again with the latest news about political events in the United States and around the world, and we start with the updates in the Diddy case, which has already developed into one of the biggest scandals in US history. Meanwhile, it has been confirmed that in fact numerous pornographic videos that Diddy has secretly recorded in his will mainly during his parties and in order to be able to blackmail the target person with this material, circulating on the black market and being sold for a lot of money. It is believed that Diddy kept these videos as insurance and released him after his arrest in mid-September to pressure all the other stars and politicians associated with him to stand up for him and get him out of prison. The lawyer Ariel Mitchell Kidd, who represents a victim of Diddy in court, has said to the press that she can personally confirm the existence of 3 videos in which at least 3 celebrities can be seen together with Diddy. From other Hollywood insiders, we currently hear that large parts of the US celebrities both on the East and on the West Coast are panicking because probably the first Diddy tapes from the black market have gotten to the press and could soon be made public. Of course, one wonders how it is possible that such exclusive material has not yet been uploaded to any social media platform and so far only circulates on the black market and the dark web. Well, the answer could be that those who would make the material public would be guilty of distributing child pornography content, which is based on a zero-tolerance policy throughout the United States in this area. Lawyer Tony Busby from Houston, Texas alone, who is initiating a class action lawsuit against Diddy, represents 25 victims who were minors at the time of the crime, including even a 9-year-old boy who is said to have experienced the most serious abuse. Yes, children and teens make up nearly a quarter of the victims represented by the Texas-based Busby law firm in the class action lawsuit against Diddy. This makes it clear that with Diddy we are not just dealing with a star who has gone a bit over the top, just as the media initially tried to portray it, but with a serious criminal pedophile. Yes, and the fact that no one has dared to put the Diddy tapes on the internet tells me that Diddy probably set out to film the targets of their crimes against children, knowing that he would have them in his hands for the rest of his life. Texas attorney Tony Busby has already issued a clear warning to all of Diddy's celebrity friends and announced that he will reveal their identities shortly. I assume that there are a lot of nervous people right now who are searching their memory, scouring their social media and deleting their phone data, hoping that they won't be somehow associated with this. Busby told the press. Busby added that legal action is not only against alleged accomplices, but also against supporters and even against people they could have seen, those who looked away. Busby said he expects the first lawsuit to be filed within a month. Most cases will be tried in New York, but many will be tried in California, and I believe there will be many more defendants that the public will be surprised about. People we all know. The list is very long, and when you talk about the age of the victims at the time of the crime, it's really shocking, he told reporters on Monday. If children were victims, you can be sure that the US attorney will investigate the case and charge Diddy with other extremely serious counts. I would also not be surprised if they have already investigated and are going to charge more people. Yes, and indeed, the list of accomplices that lawyer Tony Busby is talking about here should have been extended many times over, because in fact his law firm has set up a hotline where victims, witnesses and other affected people could report to give tips and evidence on the Diddy case, or join the class action. Yes, and this hotline received over 12,000 calls in the first 24 hours alone, which could be a good indication of how big the crime ring around Diddy actually is. Lawyer Tony Busby wrote to Law and Crime on Wednesday. Since the press conference yesterday, we had 12,000 calls in 24 hours. There may be many more alleged victims and witnesses added to the class action lawsuit. Busby calls it a Herculean task and wants to listen to each of the calls and make sure we identify every victim and witness and gather evidence. He has set up a team of 100 people. According to the lawyer, dozens of letters of invitation have already been sent to celebrities to inform them that they could soon be charged insofar as there is no out-of-court settlement with the victims. What's also exciting is that the family of legendary East Coast rapper Tupac Shakur, who was murdered in the late 90s, has now assembled a whole team of investigators to investigate whether Diddy was involved in Tupac's murder. Dwayne Keith Davis, a former member of the Southside Crips, suspected participants in the murder. Davis claims that Diddy offered him $1,000 in advance to kill Tupac and Chuck Knight, and numerous coded messages, for example in Eminem's lyrics, suggest that it is common knowledge in the music industry that Diddy murdered Tupac. A payer gas so Minius says this is that he don't just bell the whopper when we ve that P did it RP rest in please speaking and fuck please they leaving give but I channel P we can he make for a hidomi like TVD Ginham. According to insiders, Tupac himself was a victim of Diddy's abuse and tried to defend himself against his oppressor at the peak of his career, which subsequently became his downfall. Yes, if the investigators find credible evidence of this, that would of course catapult the case to a completely different level among lawyers. The Tupac family has also hired star lawyer Alex Spiro, who has represented Elon Musk against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, among other things. So this is where an armada of high-profile lawyers is already forming against Diddy, with Texas lawyer Tony Buzbee making the fastest progress with his class action, simply because they already represent over 100 victims and now probably have over 10,000 additional testimony. Lawyer Tony Buzbee has a close connection to the U.S. military as he served as an officer in the United States Marine Corps. During his military career he reached the rank of captain and received several awards including the Navy Commendation Model and the Navy Achievement Model, which the Ava Law Group, for which Tony Buzbee works. Yes, and as you know, since the extensive reprocessing of the devolution theory, I assume that much of what we are currently seeing on the world stage is part of covert military operations. Which is why I find it quite interesting that the law firm that is now filing the class action lawsuit against potential pedophile trafficker Diddy has extremely close ties to the military and has represented military personnel for decades. Yes, and if taking out Diddy and his liaison spokesman ring is part of a covert military operation, it would make sense that Diddy would have sought out Anthony Rico, a lawyer who specializes in averting death sentences. So, Diddy seems to think he could be sentenced to death after everything else that comes out. Yes, and even if the Diddy case is gigantic, it could only be the introduction to a much larger file. Because as Elon Musk confirmed in his interview with Tucker Carlson yesterday, numerous billionaires he personally knows are currently not almost panicked because Trump has announced that after his election victory, he will reopen the app-style case and release the documents related to it. You know, I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump win, that if thin client list is gonna become public, yes, and some Lasboiner is behind come all are terrified at that I come do think Reid Hoffman sir incomparable yes and Gates. Bill Gates. So according to Musk, it is billionaires like Reid Hoffman and Bill Gates who are very nervous because of the Epstein announcement and, among other things, support the election campaign of Kamala Harris. Yes. As for Elon Musk, after initial hesitation, he has now 100% behind Donald Trump's election campaign and even participated as a speaker at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Yes, Elon Musk, whose political commitment, according to his own statements, is about saving the country, is betting on one card by joining forces with Trump. Everything is on one card, because if Harris wins, we can assume that she will not only eliminate the subsidies for Musk's companies, but will also launch politically motivated charges against him. And that's exactly why Musk is probably willing to use part of his enormous fortune to carry Trump safely across the finish line. But of course in America, as in all democracies, it is forbidden to pay voters directly to vote. But in fact Musk has found a pretty ingenious way to mobilize voters for Trump without breaking election laws. In the first step, he founded the organization America PAC, whereby this political action committee collects donations and distributes them to political candidates in order to influence the corresponding election. In the second step, Elon Musk transferred a 3-digit million amount to this America PAC, which, according to the website, stands for Safe Borders, Responsible Government Spending, Safe Cities, a Fair Justice System, Freedom of Expression and Self-Defense. Yes, and then this America PAC started a petition advocating for free speech and the right to bear arms. And now comes the crux of the matter. Only registered voters from the important swing states Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Michigan can sign the petition. Wisconsin and North Carolina if a registered voter from these states signs the petition. They can then persuade other registered voters to sign the petition as well and receive $47 from Musk's organization. Yes, and with this strategy, Musk is mobilizing Republican voters in the key swing states, who now have a considerable financial incentive to register their entire constituency as voters, as they earn $47 per voter. Of course, it's not exactly Democratic left voters who sign a petition for free speech and the right to bear arms at America PAC. This means that Musk has actually found a legal way to pay Republican voters to register for the upcoming election and, in most cases, to request a mail-in ballot. According to initial information, the campaign is a huge success and could cost Musk over $100 million. In addition, the America PAC is pumping millions into the election campaign of the Republican representatives of the House of Representatives, which will take place on January 5. November must also stand for re-election, and precisely because of this new sudden tailwind from Elon Musk, who apparently spares no expense in helping Trump and the Republicans, Trump's chance of victory at the Poly Market betting office briefly jumped to over 54%, putting him a whopping 8.5 percentage points ahead of Kamala Harris. Musk even told Tucker Carlson that he could end up in prison if Harry becomes president. My hope is that, precisely because there is so much at stake for him, Musk will use his money before and after the election, whether Trump wins or loses, to fight the guaranteed recurrence of voter fraud. On X, he is already constantly posting evidence of the Democrats' preparation for election fraud, which makes me personally positive that Musk, with the same intelligence with which Trump is currently mobilizing voters, is also finding a way to publicly denounce and eradicate election fraud, insofar as this essential task has not already been taken over by other bodies such as the US military. We have been following world events together for 6 years, and the things for which we could perhaps still be described as conspiracy theorists are gradually disappearing because our theories are increasingly turning out to be reality, and those who didn't even want to talk to us a few years ago are looking for conversation more and more often because they realize that we were right from the start. We have been mentally preparing for years for what is just beginning and yet to come. And therefore, while reality collapses for everyone else, we can remain calm and level-headed and lay the foundation for a new future together. We are facing the greatest change humanity has ever experienced, and I look forward to continuing to accompany you with my videos during this hugely important time. My special thanks go to the supporters of the channel, without whom I could not do this work. YouTube demonetized me years ago because of my Corona videos, and I don't have any other advertising partners for the videos, which is why I really appreciate every contribution. If you would like to support my passion for free journalism, then you will find a PayPal donation link and an account details in the video description directly below this report. Yes, I will be happy if you tune in again for the next report. Then have a nice day or a nice evening, depending on when I watch the video. Ciao.